Hi guys, so in today's video I am reviewing watercolour paints from Holbein. Holbein is a paint company based in Japan and their paint is very popular, particularly amongst manga artists. So I purchased a 6-colour set from Jackson's and I also got 2 additional colours. The colours which I got were Crimson, Peacock Blue, Vermilion Hue, Viridian Hue, Indigo, Yellow Ochre, Burnt Sienna, and Permanent Yellow Deep. I put all the paints into half pans and I left them to dry. The paints dried very well, they didn't crack and they had a smooth consistency, a little bit like Schminker or Daniel Smith paints. They also didn't shrink too much within the pans either. Their paints contain no additives such as oxgol, which helps with flow. So here we go, I'm just going to swatch the colours now. Most of the colours in their range are more than one pigment, and many of their paints as well are not light fast. Of the colours I have here, I believe the one that is very not light fast would be Vermilion Hue, and a couple of others also have some light fast issues, as in they're not permanent. I did 2 colour wheels using the 3 different primary colours. I used the sort of red, yellow, blue in the first one, and in the second one I did more of an earthy triad, just to see what sort of colours I can mix with these. So now on to the painting demonstration. I decided I wanted to paint something that would include a little bit of everything, including botanical and a face, as these paints are often used for manga artists and illustrators. When working with the paints, I found them to be very strange. Their drying shift was rather odd. Usually when paints dry, they tend to get lighter when they dry. However, the Holbein watercolours dried flat. I was also experiencing some problems with the Crimson watercolour, as I found, because it was extremely staining, the second I touched the paper it soaked right in and it was very uneven. I couldn't get a smooth wash with Crimson, and I also found this problem with some of their other paints as well. When working and mixing these paints, I found them extremely dull when they dried. Normally with the pigment in the Crimson watercolour paint would dry quite brightly. In this example demonstration, they really did not dry at all bright. They were very flat. This is obviously a trait which is helpful for illustrators and manga artists who maybe want flatter images. I found that by mixing the yellow and blues, I could get nicer greens than the vermilion that was included in this set. Apart from the vermilion, I did include all the other colours in the set in this picture. I managed to get a nice array of tones and hues, including a skin tone. I managed to get a nice neutral grey by mixing together the vermilion hue and the peacock blue. Even the peacock blue is dual pigmented, and it includes phthalo blue and phthalo green, which is rather unusual for a pigment that is mostly phthalo blue, and I also find it extremely unnecessary. They are rather pricey, at £6 on average for a tube. They are also rather difficult to find. The only place that I can find them within the UK is Jackson's Art. Overall, I did not enjoy my experience painting with these paints. I found them to be unenjoyable to paint with, as the colour was always rather flat and dull. This was difficult to adjust to, as it's not what I'm used to when working with other watercolour brands. That being said, I still managed to get rather a nice picture at the end, and I was happy with the overall artwork as a whole. As pricey as they are, each paint does have a decent pigment load. You can get quite concentrated mixes from not a lot of paint. They have a huge selection of colours available, however you do need to really do some research into it. As I said, a lot of them are more than one pigment, and many of those mixes are not like other brands. They are almost unnecessary pigment mixes, such as the green mixed with the blue, and a lot of them are actually free pigment mixes like the vermilion hue and the crimson. This will affect how the paint mixes, and it can become more dull the more you mix it because of the amount of pigments that they use in each paint. The hardest thing with reviewing these paints is, even though there are other paint brands out there that I dislike, I could find a use and a target audience for them. With the Holbein, I'm unsure of who they would appeal to. The pigments in the paints aren't really worth it. There's no really granulation in them if you're looking for granulating pigments. They're not bright and colourful and leaping off the page, so they're not good for artists who want that. And I just find them overall rather dull and there's nothing special about them, I feel. There's nothing that would draw an artist to them, apart from the fact that they're Japanese maybe. I've heard rather good things about their gouache and their oil paints. However, these watercolours have rather let me down a little bit. I guess you could say they are targeted at maybe illustrators and manga artists. However, you can still achieve the same results with other brands of watercolour, just as easily as well. Even their convenience mixes are not completely unique to them. They have, for skin tone, already pre-mixed skin tone called Jaune Brilliant, I believe. I also believe there's Jaune Brilliant number 2. These are easy to mix, and a lot of other brands have the same mixture, they just tend to call it Naples yellow. If you can find these paints cheap enough, they may be worth the investment, but however, here in the UK, they're definitely not worth investing in. The best way to get more bang for your buck would be to look on Amazon, particularly Amazon America, US and Canada. I believe they have large sets of like 25 tubes for rather cheaper than here in the UK. Despite any issues I found with these paints, they are workable. You can get decent artwork from using them. They're just not overly exciting to paint with compared to my other brands. So, what do you guys think? Have you tried Holbein Watercolours or their other products such as their gouache? How do you find them? Do you find them Do you find them easy to work with, or do you also struggle? I'm going to take a second to talk about the paper that I'm working on. I'm working on Fabriano student grade watercolour paper. I really like this paper and I enjoy working on it. I find it to be almost as good as some more expensive brands, and I definitely prefer working on this to the Fabriano Artistico paper. Paper did not warp too much, and I did use some pretty heavy washes while painting this. It's more affordable than the Artistico range. So I believe the video is now coming to a close. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, a comment, and please subscribe, it really does help. And I thank you again, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.